Greetings, comrades, and welcome to the Eastern Border. Well, welcome back to the Eastern Border. Well, if you follow me on Twitter or on Facebook, you know what happened. So, another personal loss for me. So far, it's been 5 people during this war. This time, it was in the rocket strikes into Odessa, which really didn't make me happy. And yeah, I took some days off to clear my mind, so as to not make the same troubles as mistakes that I did last time. And I'm pretty sure this war will lead to many more tragedies. So we kind of have to prepare for that. Now, today I'm going to bring you a bit more broader scope news because we have some interesting stuff to think about. And I hope you really enjoyed my interview with Martyrmate. Well, his interview with me that I posted as the last episode. And we're recording later today because it's noon for me now. We're recording later today a non-war related episode. That's a thing that I really wanted to do for a long time. It's going to be with John Michael Gauthier from the Event Horizon podcast, because I mentioned this on some previous episodes. I really enjoy all the space exploration and futurism and science and sci-fi stuff, and I like serious pondering about alien life, such as microbes on Europa or on Enceladus and everything like that. And we're gonna just to relax a bit. We're gonna make an episode about how the Soviets view the future. Well, how did they view the future? How they organized lectures about whether or not there's life on Mars in the 60s, and how in their plans they went about stating that in the future of communism, each library shall have a calculating machine. The larger ones might even have one for each department. Stuff like that. It's just weird things, and that's gonna air tomorrow. I'm just mentioning this because then you'll probably get 2 episodes in short succession tomorrow, because I'm not skipping the war stuff. It's just that's gonna be a bit of an extra, and that's gonna be longer and edited and just so you knew. However, we have some really weird news from the front, because the battle for Donetsk continues, and although Ukrainian losses are less than Russian losses, we still can talk about the fact that Ukrainians need help, and they need real help. But so far, it seems that they've been active. Now, I'm not really sure about what's going on there. It might as well be Russian partisans, but yeah, there was reports that in the early hours on the 25th of April, at about 2 a.m., an oil depot, or oil base, as they call it in Bryansk, in Russia, which is near Ukraine. It's the region bordering Ukraine. But the city of Bryansk is about 100 kilometers away from the Russian border. Apparently, there was a massive fire. No one really saw any missiles, because there are still a bunch of options about what could have happened there. We've heard stories about Russian-owned helicopters making a mistake and shooting Bryansk when they couldn't dislocate themselves. We've seen reports about Ukrainians mounting explosives and creating the sabotage. We've seen stories about local partisans. We don't know any of that. I don't know for sure. However, we know that basically there was a Rosneft refinery, and basically a tank which is full of 10,000 tons of diesel fuel caught fire. And that was supposedly a diesel fuel meant for export. And then another oil depot further away also caught fire. And basically diesel oil, and the second reservoir was meant for military needs, and it contained 5,000 tons of fuel. And apparently there was this Druzhba main oil pipeline, because Bryansk is a key hub of the transportation there. And apparently this incident has, according to some reports, we know that this has caused severe damage to the Russian oil and gas industry, since apparently the oil pipeline got dehermetized, and some oil there caught fire, and apparently on a munitions base too, in the military base near Bryansk, it also also kind of their munitions just exploded. So that's kind of weird because we have an oil fire, we have two massive fuel fires, and we have things exploding. At about 9:20 in the morning, the Russian news agency Interfax reported that the fires were localized at one of the facilities. However, of course, they basically lied about this because you could look at the satellite images and fires were actually spreading in the afternoon across the facilities. And it was just crazy. Russian media speculated that Ukrainian drones could strike the fuel facilities, but again, nobody knows. Nobody really knows. And previously, head of Ukraine's main directorate of intelligence, Kirill Budyanov, warned that Russians could stage attacks on their own facilities in the Russian territory in order to present Ukraine to its citizens as a criminal state. However, I doubt that happened too. I don't know what happened. I'm really supportive of the theory that all this was caused by some sort of either Russians doing a protest or some Ukrainians managing to infiltrate there somehow and creating a sabotage. Well, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but basically this oil infrastructure hurts Russian logistics even more, and we know that Ukrainians focus their attacks specifically on the Russian oil and gas infrastructure. And like I said, this is just 100 kilometers away from Ukraine. So this is just weird. This is a strategic location after all. And to basically continue this, apparently another fire happened in the Russian airbase of Ussurisk, which is really far from Ukraine. Like, super far, and it's just so fresh that we don't even have comments there, but Russian military infrastructure and their oil bases are slowly catching on everything. In the meantime, besides this, because Russia's getting, well, quite obviously angry about this whole situation, Sergei Lavrov, the Minister of Lies, the Foreign Minister, so-called Foreign Minister, I'm calling him the Minister of Lies, basically stated that the peace talks with Ukraine should continue, and he warned that there are very real threats of the Third World War. He also criticized Ukrainian approach with the peace talks to Russia. Quote, "Goodwill has its boundaries, but if it isn't basically coming from both sides, it doesn't help the process of the peace talks. But we continue to participate in the talks with the team delegated by the Ukrainian President Zelensky, and these contacts will continue." Lavrov also stated that Zelensky only is pretending to do peace talks. He's a good actor, Lavrov stated. And if you look closely and will read what he says closely, you will find 1,000 lies over there. And he stated that in the current state of crisis, there's a real threat of a Third World War. And he stated, quote, to the Interfax, "The threats are serious, they are real. You cannot underestimate them." Which is, again, weird thing. And let me remind you, there's this meme on Twitter going around where Lavrov sits right next to a yellow circle and says that this meme consists of Lavrov stating that this is a triangle. This triangle is a blue one. And furthermore, this is why Ukrainians are all Nazis and this is why this war happened. I mean, I don't know. Threats of a Third World War, well, hasn't happened in 2 months. Maybe if they're cornered or something. But I basically am starting to believe that Russia needs to be denuclearized. You need to basically force some sort of memorandum on there. And, I mean, how do we know that these nukes would work? That's another question. And at any rate, I'm quite certain that we really need this war to end with Russia no longer being a nuclear power. However, I really don't know how much we should buy into whatever nonsense comes out of Lavrov's mouth at this point. Because, furthermore, another interesting thing, because, Russian security services on Monday basically stated that, we have uncovered an assassination attempt on Solovyov And yeah, they claim to recover, quote, an improvised explosive device, 8 improvised incendiary devices of the Molotov cocktail type, 6 PM pistols, a sawed-off hunting rifle, an RGD-5 grenade, more than 1,000 cartridges of various calibers, drugs, fake Ukrainian passports from the would-be assassins, as well as nationalist literature and paraphernalia. Yeah, this was the plot to kill the TV host Vladimir Solovyov in Moscow. Apparently, according to FSB, the plot to kill him with a car bomb was supposedly cooked up in coordination with the Ukrainian security services. Now, there are two little things. The neo-Nazi signatures on the book, because see, I've talked about this a long while. At least the Soviet Union actually had their secret services and they worked pretty good, right? But they made two crucial mistakes besides the neo-Nazi paraphernalia. They actually included a little picture of like Hitler attached to the speakers next to the computer where they found it. Like, just taped on picture of Hitler, and like they threw in some drugs as well in there. And that's just crazy. And there's a Mein Kampf book, literally signed because of love and everything. But the signature is written, the signature is written literally there with the text, signature uncertain. Someone basically told them to fake up some bullshit and said, well, just put some sort of fake, random, unintelligible signature there. And the person really listened to this and obeyed, and obviously typed on the book, signature uncertain. Just like that, just obey the orders. And this is even worse because as you can see in the pictures, one photo shows a crisp red t-shirt with a swastika on it, laid out next to 3 copies of the video game Sims 3. And a BBC journalist, Westerner, really didn't understand what the hell. Why would you have 3 copies of Sims 3 on this totally legit neo-Nazi Ukrainian picture on it? But if you speak Russian, then you understand that someone from the top most likely just wrote 3 simki, 3 SIM cards. Because simka is a short for SIM card in Russian. And 3 because why not? 3 is a good number. So yeah, guys, just try harder, I suppose. I don't even know. This is just ridiculous. Solovyev, by the way, being the chief propagandist, have declared this war to be a war against all of Europe, in which Russia will show no mercy. If you guys continue to 3 shimki and unintelligible signature all around this place, then, oh boy, maybe you should start showing mercy to your own bureaucrats, because I don't know. But yeah, the crackdowns, by the way, it could be, like, all of this could be because of the protests, really, since Russia's crackdown is continuing, and we didn't really even thought that this could get any worse, but Russian Gosduma has drafted a new bill on foreign agents, and if you've been listening to my show, you know that everyone can be a foreign agent for everything, but it wasn't hard enough. The proposed legislation, titled On Monitoring the Activities of Individuals Under Foreign Influence, was just submitted to the State Duma on April 25th. And apparently, First Deputy Chairman and bill co-author Andrei Lugovoy stated that, quote, the bill is necessary because of the, quote, large and growing amount of attention being paid to this institution, that of foreign agents by countries that are unfriendly to Russia and that want to influence our citizens and our country's policies. And this is just crazy. Previous foreign agent legislation, by the way, has consisted solely of amendments made of various other laws. And this will combine them. And this is just crazy. So now, under the new bill, foreign agents can include anyone who receives financial support from abroad, or is, quote, under foreign influence of any kind, and who engages in at least one of the following activities: political activity, collecting information about Russian military and military logistics, or distributing messages and materials to an unlimited number of people, or participating in the creation of these messages and materials. Foreign influence is defined in the new legislation as support from a foreign source. For example, foreign governments, foreign government agencies, or international organizations, or other forms of influence from that source, including coercion and persuasion. So, if persuasion is included, then apparently I can if you somehow slip this show, which is made in Latvia, ooh, evil European Union, to someone in Russia, then they can get declared a foreign agent. And one of the greatest Russian economists, Dmitry Potapenko, he had received one stock of the company Yandex, which is the Russian competitor of Google, and the problem is it's also registered in Netherlands. So it's a bit bizarre. He was declared a foreign agent because of that. But right now, being a foreign agent no longer requires receiving foreign money. This just means that, the registry, the Center E against extremism, can just decide that you look like you have smelled the air of freedom too much, comrade. Why? What are you doing? And then you can become a foreign agent. Just influence. And I really like that. This is crazy because when asked by journalists how the bill's authors propose to determine whether a person has come under foreign coercion or persuasion, the author of the bill stated that, this particular language will be clarified in more detail in the next version of the bill. Let me translate to you from Blyadsky to Ruski. Sorry, comrade, you're asking too many questions. You're clearly being persuaded by someone who really wants you to think for yourself. Please go to the nice man in the KGB in the next room. Seriously, so if you try to persuade someone in Russia, then they become a foreign agent. Furthermore, to even continue this weird fascisty thing, the bill includes language about affiliated individuals. Affiliated individuals are included in the new legislation for the sake of making the situation surrounding foreign agents more transparent. After all, it often happens that foreign agents who have received support from abroad result using intermediaries, who, as a result, also finance political activity. And, the bill itself doesn't specify who can be declared an affiliate or a foreign agent. It can be anyone who helps them engage in that kind of activity, including relatives. So, I don't know. Hey, little Ivan, I'll give you 10 euros just from Latvia, straight up. If you guys are family members of any of the army guys or propagandists, you know what? I'm gonna drop €1 or two, maybe 5. I mean, €5 in Russia, it should be decent since apparently the wives of the fallen Russian soldiers get paid 10,000 rubles, which is about 120 euros. And I'm being super generous here. It's like $130. And they're being forced to photograph with that money, in front of a car with a Z plastered over it. And this is just madness. This is just stupidity and absolute fascism. And my crazy news here was supposed to be the one that State Gosduma, a deputy from United Russia, Putin's party, yesterday basically stated that Ukrainian prisoners of war should be forcibly forced to donate blood for the Russian soldiers to save Russian soldiers' lives. I mean, this is some James Bond villain level shit. I mean, I never thought that you can twist something so tragic, and this war has been a personal tragedy for me, but they are just being so dumb, even about making this war, and this is just utterly weirdness. And of course, there's a lot of new repressions for the foreign agents. Oh, and the worst part is that right now, this whole propaganda and everything has reached such a peak that the propaganda has gone overboard. That if Putin actually does the reasonable thing and goes into some sort of agreement and signs a peace treaty, it'll destroy his own ratings, the so-called Lucifer effect. To support this war, Putin went all in that Ukrainians are Nazis and just hyped up everyone and made everyone full fascist. And now it's biting him back, because now he can't sign a peace deal. However, just to put this in perspective, imagine signing a coordinated and nice peace deal with Hitler. Yeah? Sounds nice to you, leaving him in power over all those people who are now basically complete fascists and who are just gonna turn their backs on you. I really can't imagine that, and I don't know. I don't exactly support that either. At any rate, this was today's news, and we're going to record stuff, and I just chose not to record yesterday and the day before that because I was just, again, mentally crushed, and last time when I did this, I got a bunch of bad mojo from some of you people. But thank you for listening. Happiness is mandatory, as always, and please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/theeasternborder, or you can go to our Twitter, at @Eastern_border, and there's this little button on my account which allows you to become patrons straight from there, or you can just go to the easternborder.lv homepage and become patron over there, or click the donate button to support us directly. A lot of options there. And of course, donate to Ukrainian forces. Comebackalive.ua is my favorite charity at this point. Also, if you're Latvian, then Latvian Hunters Association is gathering funds to buy anti-materiel rifles for Ukraine. We have already donated, so please do that. And up until the end of April, Podchaser app is basically donating to Ukraine some dollar or something, or less, I don't know. They're donating some amount of money for each podcast review that you leave there. So please, we would be very happy if you'd leave us a review and let us know about it, because then we can say thank you and leave some other reviews to our other favorite shows, and, well, help all this end peacefully. До свидания, товарищи. And once again, happiness is mandatory.